Greetings! You did not click on Book of the Week with Sherry Rooney, but instead you have clicked on St. Paul's podcast, Beyond the Sermon. During this time, we'll look beyond the words that our pastors have preached that are full of life. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and today I have Pastor Smith with me today. Say sup to the people.
Sup.
There you go. Good job. You made sure to enunciate that P at the very end of that. Now I'm curious, do you know the origin behind this word?
I'm guessing it comes from what's up or what's up.
What's up was last week. But sup
Oh, was it?
actually comes. Oh, so you don't listen to my own podcast?
I think I missed the episode last week. Yeah.
You're my boss. You're supposed to.
I'm behind on
those things.
I'm behind on my podcasts.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, it's okay. I know you're my second boss, and then Kyle Maurer is my third boss. God is my first boss, so he does outrank you.
Seems right.
Yeah. Sup actually comes from the 14th century Old English word to sip or swallow.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, I did know that usage of the word, yeah.
And then it was adapted in the early 2000s to what's up, and then sup.
Okay.
For that. You're a little fun fact of the day.
So I just told people to take a drink then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on what time of the day, it could be beer or it could be coffee. I don't know if you encourage 10 a.m. drinking beer in the morning.
I tend not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if it was during a marathon race though? Then it's acceptable any time.
I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead here.
I'm encouraging that. If it's 10 a.m. during a marathon race and you can drink it, I give my blessing for that. I also, one other thing I was curious before we started on here. How's your March Madness bracket looking?
Not so good. I think I'm in like the 24th percentile.
Okay.
So that doesn't seem very good.
Well, I'm going to assume you're doing better than mine.
Well,
I did select North Carolina to win it all.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
I have the teams. I think all my Final Four teams are still in it. But I have the Fighting Illini go into the championship game.
Do you really?
I do.
Oh, props to you.
Just because. I mean, I know I have not followed at all like anything to do with college basketball this year.
Yeah.
I'm just from Illinois, and I grew up rooting for them, so I figured I'd pick them. Well, I know we grew up in different states. I grew up in Illinois. You grew up in Illinois.
There we go.
my state's quieter.
I guess so. It must be in that Quad Cities area.
Yeah.
It's a little bit quieter in the middle of the country.
Yeah, it is. fewer turkeys, squawking or what is it, gobbling,
so
gobbling. Yeah.
All right. Well, we talked enough about marathon bracket and Illinois. Should we talk about your sermon now a little bit?
I guess so.
All right. Well, I'm just going to ask, one of my big questions right off the bat. What was the goal for your sermon objective that you wanted the congregation to get the most out of?
Yeah. I was hoping that my sermon would make people think a bit.
Okay.
For once. No.
Think about what, to be more specific?
I think my title and kind of what I weaved through the whole sermon was this concept of making things worse in the short term to make them better longer term. And we see Jesus doing that in this. He's making things worse for himself on Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday for the ultimate longer term goal of saving the world, right? Saving all people who would trust in him. He also eventually, he rises from the dead. But I wanted to apply that to how can we, in the same way that Jesus did this and some people in the early church did this, how can we wrestle with, are there some decisions we might have to make as Christians, being faithful to Jesus and his word, that might make things worse for us in the short term? They might make it harder for us, maybe stating what we believe, being faithful to the scriptures. It might put us in situations where friends, family members disagree with us. We're in opposition. We may not be. I gave a few examples of things like, I think I said, you might not be able to support that life decision that your friend has made. You might not be able to attend a wedding, of a family member or a friend if the nature of that marriage is going against God's design for marriage. You might not be able to follow that rule at work if it's against God's word. Things like that.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to make people think about these things and wrestle with them. None of them are easy. None of them are black and white. But that was a goal of my sermon, kind of running it through that, making things worse sometimes, to make them better in the long run.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we gotta kind of analyze our own actions too when we think about that. Okay, so knowing with everything that you stated, like, for your goal for this sermon, did you also have a different direction of where you thought about taking it than, like, what you currently just said to the people?
Yeah. Well, if I can be very blunt, I had...
Please do.
I didn't really have a direction to sort of... So this was... initially, I was looking at all the different options, and basically just, all these different parts of the story from Maundy, Thursday, kind of into Good Friday. And I thought, well, I got to pick one of these, but I don't really know. I don't want to trample on the toes of the Holy Week sermons that are coming up. So it's like I want to talk about this on Maundy, Thursday. Mm-hmm. I want to focus on this on Palm Sunday. This is going to be Easter. I know there's Good Friday is coming. And so I thought I want to pick something that is not going to step on those toes. So I thought, okay, here's this little chunk, has the Garden of Gethsemane, and it has Jesus before the high priest. And I thought, surely, I'm a pastor. I can think of something to talk about. I can think of some kind of coherent sermon from this section of Matthew's gospel.
Oh no, I didn't think pastors were really like public speakers, really.
It is.
You're one of the rare ones.
It's kind of a big part of the job, I guess. You can. I mean, it's a part of the job. You can deem if we're good at it or not, I guess. But if we ought to be doing it, that's a different conversation. But it is one of the job requirements.
Okay. Good to know.
So then I started reading it, and I was just struck by this Jesus character. He does not seem to care much about his own well-being. Like, he does not seem to care whether he does this or whether he doesn't do this, how it's affecting him in what's, like, he is actively making it more likely that he will be crucified with everything that he chooses to say and do on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And so I was just struck by it. I'm like, I want to think about this a little bit more and ponder it. And then I started to think, well, look at the book of Acts. These guys are doing the same thing. These guys don't care about their own. It's like, where is the self-preservation with Jesus and with John and with Peter and Paul and Stephen? Like, all these guys end up killed. John's the only one that doesn't, but he does not have a good end to his life, though. He's exiled and made to do like hard labor. So yeah, they didn't kill him, but this guy was not retiring in some, Florida community or something. But these guys just so anyway, that was kind of, I noticed that about Jesus. And then I didn't really have any preconceived notion about the passage that I had chosen. And then God led me to that direction, I guess, just from that meditation on, wow, look at Jesus. He cares not for his short term, but he really cares about the long term effects that his suffering will bring about for people like us. So I had a lot of fun on this kind of like discovery journey about what the Holy Spirit was going to give me to preach on. So it was I was just kind of along for the ride. Yeah, I guess there could have been other directions, but that I ultimately then
Yeah.
got to that. How does this apply to us?
Okay.
So,
All right. Excellent. Question number 3. Now, as you were standing at the pulpit, did you see any confused faces in front of the people when you said something?
I don't know. People hide their confusion well, I think.
Okay.
There are, yeah, I didn't really see any, but
Or I should say, like, is there anything you want to clarify as well from your sermon?
There are a couple things. So it wasn't in all the sermons, but I think maybe at least the last one and maybe the second to last one too. I think I added a little bit just kind of on the fly because I started to think, what are the reasons why we might not want to be like Jesus and have the willingness to make things worse in order to make things better.
Okay.
And so I think what I said in all the sermons that I preached was, well, one of the reasons why we don't is because we have pride. We want to defend ourselves. You know, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
We want to stand up. We want to fight, right? We want to win the fight. We want to prove that heretic wrong. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that is definitely one of the motivating factors. But I think to clarify that, another reason why we might shy away from doing this is just we want things to be comfortable.
Yeah.
We want things to be easier. So we're not going to willingly be like Jesus and take on the harder path. So we might just choose ease and choose comfort. That's kind of how we're built. I mean, there's not a lot of uncomfortable things in our lives anymore. Yeah. So we're kind of soft. And so I think we might do that. But I actually thought in the sermon preparation, I was thinking I wanted to clarify a little bit, and I kind of was thinking I probably should say, though, like in any conversation where you're encouraging people to stand up for the truth, hold to their beliefs, you kind of have to say, but also don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
and I was thinking to myself, well, I probably shouldn't say don't be a jerk when there's kids around, because I would be upset, like if I know like someone said the word jerk in front of my kids and then they came home calling their sister a jerk or something.
Yeah.
Like probably. So there's like a couple things like in sermons, you know, I've tried not to say like the phrase "shut up" or "jerk," you know. So then I was like, I never came up with a softer way of saying "don't be a jerk." But and that would have been a bit of a tangent in the sermon. Now I'm just hoping no children are listening to this podcast, I guess, because I've said the word jerk like 7 times. But
don't be a meanie.
Yeah, don't be a meanie. See, I should have asked you. You could moderate my language.
There we go. I do work with kids for a living, so
that is true. Yeah. So, but I just kind of thought, because sometimes Christians can be like, well, Jesus, you know, said this, or, you know, Martin Luther said this, and he said it in this way, and he said it strongly, and it's like, okay, but if our goal is we're going to follow Jesus faithfully, but we might stand up for the truth, but for the ultimate goal being for the sake of the other person. I'm not standing up just to make myself right or make you bow before my, you know, me winning the argument or something.
Yeah.
It's more for the sake of, like, I want to be comfortable with, I might be faithful to Jesus. I might say the truth, and it actually might make you like me less today.
Okay.
I have to be comfortable with that. Like with maybe saying, no, I don't think that this life choice that you are making is good. Like,
yeah.
No, I can't go to your wedding if that's the situation, you know. And you might think I'm a real bad person in that moment, but I'm thinking I'm going to think I'm playing the long game. I'm not going to be rude to you, but I might have to be blunt and be okay with, I might lose a friend today, but maybe I'm going to pray that from this conversation, this person might be convinced to come to the side of the truth,
yeah,
or repent of their sin. Because I would hope that someone would do the same for me. I would hope that someone could call me out about something and be okay with me not wanting to talk to them for a while, but if they knew it was the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And so I think if I have the presence of mind to desire that from someone else, I should be willing to do the same thing. This is not easy at all, but I felt it was important to talk about, I guess.
All right. Yeah, definitely not those easy things to talk about, but yeah, like you said, it's for the long game.
Yeah.
Question 4. And as I'm in your office, I'm looking on your bookshelves, and like you have many books, and so this means 2 things. One, St. Paul has a very intelligent lead pastor, and 2, Luther's small catechism has definitely grown over the years from 8 pages to its 429 pages. So I don't know if we could still call that a small catechism anymore. But among those 429 pages, where can our listeners find your sermon teachings in the small catechism? And don't worry, I'm not asking for the page number or the section.
Good. Well, I would know the section. It would come from the Creed, the second article of the Creed.
Oh, like so 9.3? The section number for that?
That's
what I was going for.
Oh, you mean like the exact question number?
Yes.
No, I can't get you that. I can't give you that. Yeah.
Well,
that is helpful though.
Yeah. Because our listeners probably have the different versions of the catechism at home, so
they
it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, so if you have the 2017 version or I think the one that I learned from was like the 1940s. It was from the 1940s.
Is that the blue one?
It was a blue one.
That's the one I grew up on in confirmation too.
They came out with another one at some point. I think
all maroon.
I think it came out around the same time as the Lutheran Service book came out, because I think around that time was when they started using the ESV translation instead of, I think, NIV.
Yes, that's what I remember too.
But that blue one though, there's no way I don't think NIV existed in the 1940s. It may have been. I bet the blue one I had, I think it was like 1946. But then I think maybe updated slightly. I'll have to look. I've got it.
Oh no, you piqued my curiosity.
It might be at home. Anyway.
I don't know. I just remember someone told me in my internship. It was actually the pastor's wife. Told me this, that like, oh, it used to be Concordia, Nebraska blue, where my supervisor went to, and then now they replaced it to where she went and where we went to Concordia maroon.
Yeah, Concordia
with gold in the font.
Chicago. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. Oh good. Yeah.
Yeah. There's means that Chicago is better than Seward in this way that it got replaced with those colors.
You and I know that.
Yeah, for sure. Go Cougars.
Yeah, but anyway, there's this topic of conversation. There's this teaching in the Catechism that talks about when Jesus, when the Son of God comes down to earth as a man. He's both 100% God, 100% man. In the incarnation, he's Jesus Christ. He's the Son of God. He has all divine power at his disposal at all times. He could do anything that God can do. But he doesn't always use that power. And so we sometimes talk about during Jesus' earthly ministry, he is in a state of humiliation. It means that he has humbled himself. We think Philippians 2, that passage. He's set aside some of his divine power. Now, he's also using it at various points, doing all of his miracles. That's he's tapping into that. But especially as he allows himself to suffer, to be arrested, beaten, crucified, killed.
Oh wait, do we say spoiler alert before Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday?
Ooh, yeah. Just go back and edit this out later. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
okay,
there might be some people that are on the edge of their seat.
Yes,
I do. I would pay a good chunk of money to be able to read, like right now, to be able to read the gospel, like Gospel of Matthew, we'll say, and not know what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think it would be quite the ride to read that.
I think so.
To kind of like have one day where like, hey, I am I don't know anything about this. I just want to read it. And I kind of had that experience for like maybe an adult reading the gospel for the first time.
Yeah.
Anyway, if there's an Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind shop, I can go, clinic or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a weird tangent.
So going back to
So going back, so he is in this we call like the state of humiliation. And then, but then he also has the state of exaltation, where, and the Catechism points out that it is the descent into hell, actually, when he flips over, because he's not being condemned to hell. He's going to hell to tell Satan, "Ha ha, I win. I have defeated you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to rise from the dead." And then ever since then, I mean, now we see Jesus in this glorified resurrection body. He's passing through walls. He ascends into heaven. When he comes back, there will be no humility about it anymore. It's going to be all like, I am the Lord. I am coming back for Judgment Day, and I'm eternally reigning, right? So I think sometimes, you can talk about a concept like this in a sermon without saying, "And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you about the state of humiliation." It's just more of that like show instead of tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for people that remember that from the Catechism, they may have been thinking, "Oh yes, I remember. This is kind of like Jesus did that. He humbled himself so that he could save us, right?
Yeah.
It's just kind of another way of expressing the making things worse to make them better."
Yeah. My last question I have for you about your sermon is, where was my Lord and Savior in your sermon?
Yes, Jesus. So Jesus he's the one, we talk about. He's the one who saves us by making things worse in order to make them better. The people who receive the better is us. We receive forgiveness, eternal life through his suffering and death on the cross. He's also, though, he's first and foremost, he's always going to be our Savior. But we can rightly talk about him as an example for us to follow as well. That's just, you're going off the rails if you make Jesus first and foremost an example. But he is an example for us of how to live, so we can follow him and we can be confident in him, both in the short term and in the long term. So we know he's with us. It's not just like, "Hey, follow me and your bad things are going to happen to you and I don't really care." No, he's still with us and he strengthens us in the short term. And then we know for sure, our long term is taken care of by Jesus. So.
Amen to that. Very grateful. All right. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you on your sermon. Anything else you want to add before we move on to everyone's favorite section?
Let's do the everyone's favorite section.
All right. Now, this is the deer in the headlight question for you this week. And, well, I should pause a second. So, I think it was last week, and I remember you telling me that someone once asked you, and I'll be nameless on this. I was like, "Oh, did you see this commercial about something?" And you said, like, "No, I only I watch like streaming apps with the no ads on there."
Well,
which it really is the only way to go now, because.
If I said that I watched apps with no ads, I misspoke, because you think I'm paying the extra money to get the no ads, man? I'm not.
Oh, I
just, are you?
I was like, I can't do ads. I can't do.
No, I do the ads, but that's when I get up and go get a drink or use the bathroom or something.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
When the ads are playing, I'm not watching them one way or another.
Oh, okay.
You are right about that. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, thinking, like, oh, yeah, you just use the streaming apps for that. Like, well, maybe you haven't heard of... So, have you heard of this channel called the Columbia Broadcasting System?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I should use its short name, CBS.
Yes, I have heard of that.
Okay, very good. Now, CBS is, like, one of their biggest shows on there is Survivor.
Okay.
And do you know when that started?
My guess is it was probably like 1998.
Oh, you are so close. May of 2000.
Okay.
Was the first season of Survivor. And now It is on its 50th season.
That's wild.
It-
So they must be doing like about 2 a year then.
Yeah, like 2 a year. And I think they paused like in 2020
Oh yeah.
for that. So
Okay.
like, why is it not 20 like on year 25? It's like, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, 50 seasons is very impressive for this. I'm like, you did you ever watch Survivor at all?
Oh my goodness, yeah. The first 2 seasons.
Okay.
It was. I mean, my family was really into it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I don't think we continued after that, but the first 2 seasons for sure. Like, I mean, I still remember the people who won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they brought back like the season winners of like past seasons to like be on the 50th for that. So like very impressive for that. And so, do you think you would win on Survivor ever?
I would be one of the first people that would lose, I think.
Okay, well this works out. It's placed so well to my question then. So, let's say that you did get to be on Survivor, but you get to pick a proxy for you.
Okay.
And this proxy character that you get to pick is you have to choose a Disney character to play on Survivor in your place. So,
okay.
if they win, you win the $1
Okay.
million.
Okay.
But you can not pick a character that is not human, and if that character has magical powers, they are gone as well.
Okay.
So who are you picking? Any Disney character to be in your place for Survivor to win that $1 million for you?
I mean,
So you can pay all the streaming services with no ads.
I mean, the first thing that came to my mind, and I think it's the right answer. Tarzan.
That was mine. So like,
Was it? Okay,
I
yeah.
have 3 for mine.
Yeah?
That I would pick. Tarzan was number 1.
Yeah.
For mine.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing that. That was his whole like early stage of his life. Was
Exactly,
Basically
yeah.
being on Survivor.
Yeah, that is definitely I would say is one of the correct answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarzan or I gotta get my singing voice ready. No one survives like Gaston.
So actually, I was thinking of Gaston also.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And number 3 was Pocahontas
Okay. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I could see that too.
So those are my 3
Yeah.
that I would pick to win Survivor for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Gaston is so unlikable though.
Mm-hmm.
He would probably get voted out pretty early.
Man, but that whole town loved Gaston. So he has charismatic
Yeah.
once he knows his audience.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, maybe he would be. Maybe if he's not, trying to make unwanted advances on Belle.
Yes.
Maybe most other people like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Tarzan would be I think that's the answer. So great minds.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I remember this very well.
You got that really fast.
When I was that's probably the fastest I've ever
Yeah, I thought this would be one that you were thinking on.
I finally had a quick answer for you. When I was a kid, though, like when I was really into Survivor, so I would have been like in middle school, I guess. When I remember I wrote down like in a notebook all of my friends' names. I was like, well, who would win if I was on Survivor with like a bunch of my friends?
Yeah.
And I played out the scenarios, and I determined that I would win.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's true, but I just feel like you have to be so political, you have to be so kind of like two-faced, I think, to do well on that show, or at least that's how I remember it. Like people kind of like you're kind of playing everybody, and I hate doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It's just like I feel like I'm like lying or being disingenuous. Which I guess is a good quality for a pastor, perhaps to not if your pastor would be really good at Survivor, that might not be a good thing. at least from that side of it, it's fine. Like if you're a good swimmer or good at these other things, yeah.
All right, very good. All right, well, that is our show for today. Thank you for coming on the podcast Beyond the Sermon. Next week, I will be interviewing Pastor Josh for Palm Sunday.
Actually, it's me again.
I
always throw you the curveballs.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't look at the schedule. I just assumed that's what it was. All right, well, then I will be interviewing you.
You'll be stuck with me again.
I'll have to think of a harder question next time. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Goodbye.